Welcome to Eagle Eye.
What a break from Manolo.
Interviewing your favorite USA Eagles around the globe.
Tony Lamb into the 22.
Now, here's your host, Bill Baker.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Eagle Eye Rugby Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Baker. Thank you so much for listening or watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or listening on your favorite podcast player. When you get a moment, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Now, today's episode, I have Dino Waldren. Dino actually joined me a couple weeks ago. We started this new thing on Clubhouse, the audio-only chat app, which is really cool. There's so much you can listen into or comment on or learn about NFTs, people working in sports. I don't know. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff. I haven't dug into it yet. But what we've done is we've created a club on Clubhouse called USA Rugby. And there's a couple others like Rugby and wherever else. But we don't have a lot of people in the U.S. on here yet. But we're building it 1 week at a time, one person at a time. So Dino joined us a couple weeks ago. And we had a great time. It was a lot of fun talking to him. People that came into the room to listen got up on stage, it's called, to talk to Dino and ask him questions as well. And I bring that up because Dino's on again this Friday. We are going to have another Clubhouse room from 4 to 5 p.m. Just get the app. It's good on Android now and iPhone. It's free, and you'll see links for it coming up later this week. But join in. He's great to talk to. And speaking of talking to him, this interview coming up, we have a really good conversation about that Clubhouse room, but also about his the way he fits in with NOLA, how much he's enjoying it, you know, the MLR season, and we talk about USA preps for this summer series, and we have 2 really strong matches on the calendar already. You know, how is Dino working on it, and you know, working his way to it, and how are the rest of the USA players getting ready for those games? So we talk about that, and we talk about kind of his route from youth rugby to London Scots, Ireland, back over here to NOLA. But real fun conversation. Great guy. Hope you enjoy the interview. Hey Dino, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. So the last time we spoke was for the Clubhouse room last week, and you were driving, picking up your kid, and meanwhile didn't lose you at least once. I didn't hear any police or anything like that. So I got you in a better controlled environment now.
Yeah, most definitely a more controlled environment than what it was last time. But I mean, awesome. I mean, we made it work, and I had a great time on Clubhouse. I mean, that was a tremendous chat. I enjoyed it. It was an hour. We went over the time we wanted to, but again, I thought it was great. I had a great experience with that.
Yeah, it's something that we want to keep on doing and getting maybe you back on also, because it's the nice thing about that is, you know, some fans get in there and talk, and every day we do this, we get a few extra in there. So it's just building that community and making it fun, and for them to be able to talk to you, you know, I think is really cool for these guys. So, all right, with that said, let's go back a bit. Let's start from the beginning. How did you get into the game?
I guess it starts back in high school for me. I went to De La Salle High School, Concord, California, known for its football, played under Bob Ladouceur, phenomenal head coach, Justin Allenbaugh, Terry Edson, just a very, very renowned football program. My dreams and hopes were to play college football and to get a Division I scholarship. I got accepted to that, got my dream, I'm living it. Went to a small school in the NEC for Division I AA St. Francis, played there for 2 seasons, realized I wasn't going to go to the NFL, and said, if I'm going to continue to do this, I want to play at the biggest stage possible. Accepted a transfer to Colorado State. I get in July 17th, 2012, I find out that I need to do another semester of junior college for an English course before I get admitted. At that point, I go, I'm done. I'm done chasing the dream. I want to just start living my life. I get a phone call from an old buddy I played football with at De La Salle. He goes, hey, have you ever heard of rugby? I go, no. He goes, have you ever heard of St. Mary's College? I go, no. And I'm from the Bay Area, which is 40 minutes away from my house. I go, don't have a clue what it is. He goes, apply, get your college degree, come play rugby. He goes, if you don't like rugby, at the very least, come get your education. I go, you know what? That'd be good. I'll be the first male in my family to graduate from college. I'll go get it done. So I go, fell in love with the game. I was 21 years old. It was August 2012. Tim O'Brien got me out there, and it's a sport, like I talked about before, it should have been a sport I should have been playing all along. I absolutely loved it. I love that you are You get to pass the ball. You get to run with the ball. You get to tackle. You get to do everything that, a D lineman, DN gets to think of, right? I mean, I get to pass it, run with it, catch it, tackle. I mean, it's everything I could imagine. And that was it. I started playing. Tim O'Brien just kept telling me to continue to watch rugby, play as much rugby as I can. I had such bad blisters from the boots my first week. I couldn't train in boots anymore. So I came out to training barefoot and was running around for 2 weeks until the blisters healed because I just wasn't used to that leathery boot. Right? Football cleats are very different, right? Very, very different. And so, yeah, I mean, I loved it. Played 8. Tim put me at 8 for my first 2 years, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to play prop?" I was like, "Sure." Played me at loosehead. And then eventually in my 3rd season, made the jump to tight, and that just stuck. And from there on, continued to go. Tim played. I did All-Americans. Went to Australia with All-Americans, and that was an amazing time. And then Tim sent me off to Ireland to go learn some more rugby.
Hold on. I want to stop you there because I'm curious about that. So you went to Blackrock in Ireland. Yeah. No, why? What was that? Why there?
So Tim has a really good connection with Tony Smeeth. Tony Smeeth and Tim are really good friends, and so we've had a connection with Ireland at St. Mary's College for a long time. Many guys before me went there. Volney Rouse was over there. Tim Moppin went over there. Andrew Cook went over there. I think a couple more. Brendan O'Mara from Ireland as well. We've had a long-standing relationship with Ireland and sending kids over there to go play club rugby, and predominantly with Trinity. But Trinity had 3 or 4 tight heads at the time. Tony Smeeth is like, I don't have room for him. Tim's like, well, anywhere you can get him. He goes, just find him a club. He needs to be in Ireland. And he goes, Stradbroke needs a club. Go down there and play for Blackrock. And he's like, Tim goes, you want to go play? I go, sure. I'll go do it. I was like, I said, I want to, my goal at that point in time was to play rugby at the highest level possible. And, I'll do whatever I have to do it. So I jumped on a plane 2 days after I arrived back from Australia and was gone.
That's the All Ireland League.
Yep.
Explain the level of play.
Level of play would be a bit better. It was a bit more physical and better than college rugby for sure. You're dealing with men with again 20 years of rugby experience. A lot of these guys, or guys that are playing for Leinster or Connacht or Munster or Ulster that are just getting game time for their club and just getting some more minutes. So I mean, you could see some quality rugby players on the weekend for sure. I mean, very much a physical league. A lot like the championship. But it was my first club rugby experience. So I never knew, what club rugby was all about. Like I didn't understand the bus rides and all that stuff. That was a very new experience for me. So I got a very good dose of club rugby experience. And that was really cool to kind of get that, because most guys would eventually understand like that's what it's like. I never knew what men's club rugby was about, and my God, it was a great time.
After Blackrock, how soon and how did you find your way into the London Scottish camp?
So that November, I get an email from John Mitchell, and so it's 2016, I think, and John Mitchell and Marty Beal. Marty Beal coached me in All-Americans, I think 2 years prior. They were in need of a tight end. Marty liked me. John Mitchell emailed me, said, "Hey, we need a prop." I wasn't expecting that call, right, or that email. And he's like, "We need you." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Where do I need to be?" He goes, "We'll meet you in Romania." I'm just like, "Huh?" What? And so I land in Romania, and I'm just kind of like, oh man, like this is interesting, right? By myself at the airport, some guy who can't speak English picks me up at the airport holding a sign, spelled my name wrong, just holding it, just like, "Come with me, get in the car." I'm just like, oh man, all right, like sure. And I roll up, and of course, none other than my roommate. I'll never forget it. My first roommate on tour, Chris Beaumont. I mean,
oh, God.
such a legend, such a great. It couldn't happen to a better guy. Right? I join, I get in with Bowman, and it's just he's one of a kind. I mean, he really took me under his wing. I mean, he really was a great kind of a mentor for me. And, we became good friends, and, it was good. But it was a very, very unique experience. So after I go with John Mitchell for them, I go play those 2 games, Romania, and then we head down to San Sebastian, and we go for Tonga. I actually didn't play that game. It was close to the wire, my second game, and after that, you don't benefit from that. I said, I understand. It's a close game. You don't want to throw me into the fire. I get it. Come back, do the ARC, and play well for the ARC. Come back for the summer games, and end up winning. I played 70 minutes in the second game against Canada. Beaumont went out with a rib, and played really well. Scored a try, and
Nice.
Scottish. I had a buddy that worked for an agency back in London that I met through Ireland, through DBS, through one of the guys named DBS Rugby, and he sent the film to their rugby agent side of the business, and he sent him out, and Scottish were like, hey, we'll give you a trial. And again, didn't hesitate, packed my bags right after the 4th of July and after tour, and took off to London, and 3 months later they offered me a full contract, and that was it.
I'm trying to think of the amount of miles you've already traveled in those couple of years there for rugby shoes.
Yeah, a lot of flying for sure. I mean, just even my first year at St. Mary's, we went on tour to Italy.
Yeah.
And my last year of St. Mary's, we went on tour to New Zealand.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's like one of the things that I never knew rugby could open its doors to, right? I mean, I never thought in a million years I would be playing a game in Tbilisi in Georgia in front of a rambunctious, amazing crowd, right? But very rambunctious, screaming, yelling, and I'm in Tbilisi. I would never in a million years thought I'd be in Georgia or Romania, or hanging out in Wellington, New Zealand, playing Petone Rugby Club, or going down to Christchurch and spending time down there in Brisbane, Australia, the Gulf Coast, going to watch the Eels play rugby league games and the Red Stadium. I mean, you sit there and you look at the experiences that rugby's given me, and I mean, just that in itself is enough for any human to be satisfied with, right? For their life of experiences and accomplishments. I mean, so I'm very blessed that the opportunities I've had to be able to travel the world and see as much as I've seen. And it's incredible. And that's one of my favorite things about rugby is the fact that you can go so many places in the world and the community is so open and so caring and so tight knit that they'll put you up in a house right away. Right. Same thing in Ireland. I didn't have a place to stay. The club president put me in a home of one of the head guys' house. I was living in a home with a family, 3-4 sons. My laundry's getting folded with their kids. I'm just like, it's incredible the hospitality that you receive in a sport that just calls for so much violence and so much aggression, right? But yet the hospitality and the caringness of these teams and the people and the community around it it's uncomparable to anything, right? Any sport, especially.
Yeah, and 100%. Very unique for this sport because even like I played Fijians, South Africans, whatever over the years, and every one of them says, "Bill, when you come to Fiji, let me know. I may not be there, but my family will take care of you." Old Italian teammate owns a vineyard somewhere in Italy, which I don't know why I haven't gone there yet, but same thing. Bill, come here. We'll put you up in the chalet or something. But yeah, it's that great connection. And earlier you mentioned Beaumont again, and I love seeing him back in the mix with MLR. When you roomed with him in Romania, was it in an RV?
I wish it would have been, man. Oh, man, the Beaumont RV is great. No, he was definitely he was snoring. I'll say that much. He was snoring when I showed up at 12 o'clock at night. Hair was flowing in the wind. Somehow in the room, it was just still flowing. Somehow I don't get it.
With no wind. No wind.
It was still waving. Somehow it was still waving in the wind. But no. I saw his RV when I went down to for my second tour when we did the ARC. We were in Austin. We played Brazil. He took me over, and I got a grand tour of where his backyard and his home is.
Yeah, that's hilarious. All right, so a couple years later now, you're with NOLA. Yep. You spent a short amount of time did I get this right, San Diego for a short amount of time at one point?
Yeah, so my contract was up at the end of 2019 with Scottish, and at the point in time they were saying, we're not going to resign you, So if you want to go, go for it. San Diego called me, and Rob Hoadley, who I knew through All-Americans, had a relationship, known him since I was, 22 years old. He goes, hey, we need a prop. You want to come play? My first thought was game time, right? Hugh Bevan, Gary Gold, they want to see me play. They know I need minutes. Fitness is, a very important thing in the game and game time. If you don't play, it's very hard to be match fit.
Right.
And so I went there, and we made it all the way to the Shield. It was a great experience. I had a great time down in San Diego, but definitely my home and calling was NOLA for sure with Ryan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and you can tell it's really working out for you, especially this season. I mean, you're playing at an incredible level. I mean, I didn't check the stats of last week, but as the week before that, you were still leading as the top try scorer for tight heads. So we'll keep going with that. But I mean, it's got to be, it's got to be a great fit for you. Explain that. Why is NOLA a really good fit for you, and also what makes this team special?
So I think NOLA is what really makes it unique is one of our forwards coaches. So Kane Thompson, a renowned rugby player across the world, played for Samoa, captain Samoa. He's played Super Rugby, played in France, played in England. He has a very high standard of what he wants out of his forward pack. Kane is constantly driving those standards within us, and it's never it's never not good enough, but it's also like there's always room, right? There's always one more thing. There's one more thing. There's one more thing, and he continues to just keep getting the best and best out of his players, and I think he's a huge part of that success, and also getting me back into shape and into my rugby, getting my rugby IQ back switched on, the film that he goes through, how detail oriented he is, and I was off for 9 months. I mean, as soon as this pandemic hit in March of 2020, I had a wife. My wife was pregnant. I had to work. I had to make money, right? So my family were come from a line of plumbers. I went back to California and I started plumbing, and I just started working. Gyms were closed. I was working from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. So on field working, passing the rugby ball wasn't obviously wasn't the number one priority, but I'd still try to get a running session in or do that, but Kane really was huge, and for me to continue to just be like, all right, listen, you got to do extras. So he goes, you're going to train at 7 in the morning, and then after the team done, you're going to train again. And I was like, okay. So he put me through like a boot camp for like a month and a half of just grinding, and definitely hats off to him for driving the standards, not only with me, but again the whole forward pack as a whole. And Nate Osborne, he does a great job with the attack, wanting to play open and wide and fast. I think that's kind of the identity of NOLA Gold. And this past weekend against Toronto, you see JP Duplessis out, young Lockie Kratz steps in, Carl goes down within the first 20 minutes, Tim Gilman steps back in, and we weather it. We lost 2 of our best players, and we still got to be able to play wide. We still got to be able to throw the pill around. We can't stop. And those guys, hats off to them because they did a tremendous job when they came in as well.
Yeah, last time we talked also, you mentioned the facilities. It's a baseball park, but the ownership has done a really good job turning it into a rugby facility. So talk about that. You said they have really good workout facilities, clubhouse, that kind of stuff. What
so the
what
clubhouse,
are the benefits there?
What our owner Tim Falcon has done to give us, again, he's creating they say in the sports world, an excuse-free environment, right? In the NFL, in the NBA, and the MLB, well, most of the MLB teams, unless it's the A's, which is my baseball team, have everything at their disposal, right? And so that's kind of the attitude and kind of what we've had at NOLA Gold now is where you have your ice baths, you have your gym, you don't have to drive anywhere for training, you have a warm tub, medical's right there, everything's at your fingertips. So it's on you as a player and the athlete to go out there and perform because I've given you everything that you have, and that's what Tim Falcon and Ryan Fitzgerald have done for us is they've given us everything I said at our disposal. And again, it's also still keeping that humble mentality and that grinding mentality, like, we still got to work. And that's, sometimes you can get a little caught in that storm, like where everything's handed to you, but you still got to make sure, like, hey, nothing's free, right? You got to still earn it. And so, but yeah, what they've done, they changed the field. Hopefully we'll have a practice facility next to the stadium, so we won't be training on the main pitch the entire time. But it's absolutely incredible what they've done and how they transformed that place into a rugby facility. It's pretty cool.
Nice. I'd like to see it one day. We'll see. All right, USA Rugby.
The game, I'll get you a ticket.
Absolutely. Ticket. I want a jersey.
No worries.
I want to suit up for 2 minutes on the wing, and don't ever pass me the ball.
There we go.
So USA Rugby. So we've heard a lot of news about potential summer matches going into the fall. It's been a long time. I think it's almost been 2 years for you since your last international match, I believe, and then the World Cup was the last time the whole team was together. How does the USA squad prepare for such a schedule? Let's just say even we have half of those Tier 1 nations in the schedule.
So, I think, hearing from what Gary, I've listened to a few of the podcasts Gary's been on, and I'm definitely on board with what he's saying. We have to eliminate any doubt that when we come into camp that we are as fit as a Tier 1 nation. So fitness, and he's been stressing this, I think, quite a bit, that it's one less thing to work. It's one less thing to work on when you come into camp, right? If everyone's fit and everyone's flying and everyone's able to go, then all we have to work on is how we're going to play out of this area, what we want to do in this area. It's not, can we last 15 phases? Like if we're on the 50 or 40, can we continue to work, continue to get gain line on the 12th phase, continue to punch through, continue to get to the breakdowns on the 15th phase? These are, what Gary's spoken about. I think, that's going to be a key marker for us because of how long we haven't been able to assemble, and plus the continuity of a team playing together is also always huge. But, eliminating fitness as a issue or a problem, I think only allows for for our game just to be better. Right, so that you're not making that lazy pass, or like I said, you're not late to the clean out. Where you're more working on the fine details of the game that he wants to work on.
Yeah, that's good. So, and a full MLR season will be key for all of you for anyone's selection.
Massive.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the future of USA front row. You're not old. You're also not a young spring chicken right now. So you look. Right. Look around the other players around you. Look at Anu Lamasatelli's still young. You have Chance in Atlanta. Bauman's back in the mix maybe. Talk about that depth in the front row. What's it look like for us?
Oh, I think as America with the MLR, I think it's going to continue to get better and better with props. You look at just the front row of NOLA Gold. Everyone's domestic. Everyone's domestic across the board. Eric Howie, though he's Canadian, he is still considered domestic, right? Yeah. And that right there that speaks volume in itself. To go out there and for us to not have a WAPA or an Abel or a JP Smith in the front row, we're doing it with the good old American homegrown boys. That should speak volumes of the league itself, right? And out of those guys, you have myself, St. Mary's, Kevin Sullivan, Cal, Matt Harmon, Life, John Soley. He was from Buffalo. Doc Irie, Navy. Those are all home. They're all American guys and all American-based rugby players. And I think eventually that's what the league's going to come to. I think the depth is getting greater and greater. And Nate Silva over at San Diego with Pefaletti, Mason Peterson down in Austin. I've known Mason now for a while, great ball player. You look at Utah with Ala Khalifi, and you got Angus McClellan, who I've known since 2015. Mullins there as well. Wow. Then you got the Butcher over at in New York.
New York, yeah.
You got quite a bit of a good chunk of U.S.-based guys playing. I think the league is going to do justice. It's going to do a lot of good for that because I think it's the one position where you need constant reps. It's not something where you can just jump on. No respects to the backs out there, but it's not something you can just jump on the wing and run, right? Like there's so much more into it that that isn't seen, and training it is great. But again, I think valuable minutes of scrimmaging is huge, and the more we get, the better off we're going to be. And I think it's going to be really good for us. I think it could definitely be a tool for America going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dino, your future. What's next for you? What are your goals in the near future?
Oh, well, I think short term. I think the long term goal for me in the next, you look at 5 years, right? 5-year plan. I would love to play in a Rugby World Cup. I would love to lift an MLR Shield. And when rugby's done, I do enjoy. I do the coaching here at NOLA for the set piece, for the scrums. Is that something that I see myself doing? Potentially. Like I said, I am a tradesman. I come from a family of tradesmen,
Mm-hmm.
so I do enjoy working outside. That is just, some people just don't like it, but I don't have I've been digging ditches since I was 12 years old for my dad. So, I don't know. I definitely see myself in probably after when rugby's done, if I were to stay in it at the professional level, then I would just solely concentrate on that. But I think if I end up back in California, I would look at maybe the high school level or even the collegiate level at St. Mary's and, working out of the family business, doing plumbing. Or depending if my wife, makes it, then I could be a stay-home dad. Who knows?
Isn't that the key?
Yeah.
That's all our goals.
Hey, that'd be a great thing too. I support my wife. She's definitely her career has definitely allowed me to continue to reach for mine. So my hat's off to my wife for that, for sure. Definitely if she didn't have the career she had, I don't know if we'd be able to I'd be able to do what I love to do, right? Let's be real. You don't play MLR to buy homes in Bel Air. You play it because you love it. You generally love the game, and that's, I think, another recognition that people have to understand. Like, you do this because you love it. Like, there are perks in the world of traveling and whatnot, but you do kind of put your life on hold for a bit because of the sacrifices you're trying to make to be the best person you can be in rugby. And like I said, it's not, the money is getting better every year. I'm thankful for that. But you definitely have to take some time to be like, what, these guys go out there every week, they're trained and they love it. They do it genuinely because they love the sport. And it's the reason why I still play, is because I really do love it.
And that's the best reason to do it. And it's
absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, Dino, thank you so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the NOLA season. And hopefully we see you in a USA jersey this summer.
Yeah, cheers, Bill. Appreciate it. And come on down to NOLA, man. We'll get you a shirt, get you down there. Like I said, we'll talk to Mop and see if we can sub you off and get you on there wearing the 23. Get you a try there in the corner like Julian Dominguez did on the weekend.
Dude, I've been on the stationary bike at least twice last week, so I'm ready.
Hey, that's all you need. You're good.
All right, buddy. Thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Cheers, Bill. Have a good one. Thank you for having me.